everyone, welcome to SportsKhabri with me, Radhi and Rishi. Topic of the day: India's greatest World Cup triumph of the modern era. Of course, we've had three in the post 2000 era. We're not going to go back to 83. 2007 T20 World Cup, 2011 Cricket World Cup, and the 2024 T20 World Cup. We've had three World Cup wins, and in their own ways, each one of these victories were very special. 2007, which was a very young side, nobody had any expectations. Went over to South Africa, got the job done. Incredible story. Then you go to 2011, where there's that big drought of a 50 over World Cup. It's gone, whatever, 28 years. Sachin Tendulkar never won a World Cup. Obviously, not a lot of fans wanted to leave it like that. And we got the job done there. 2024, again, special in its own ways because Rohit Sharma, of course, he wanted the 2011 50 over World Cup, but he wasn't a part of the squad. Failed to get over the line in 2023. So big story for him to do it in 2024. And it's great news because Virat Kohli's first T20 World Cup as well, and it ended that big trophy drought for India in ICC tournaments. Having said all that, I'm sure all of us have our own favorites, have our own preferences. So yeah, let's get it. Let's get the ball rolling. Rishi, favorite one for you from these victories? You have a preference?
Bro, for me, it's not even close. It's 2011 50 over World Cup, bro. Come on. Growing up and even now, for us, at least in cricket, when we talk World Cup, it is the 50 over World Cup. T20 is okay. It's here to stay. It's the main attraction of cricket right now. But at all points, I've always felt that the World Cup actually meant 50 over World Cup. The teams, the countries prioritize that. The countries, that was what they looked towards. And even I feel the 2007 World Cup, a lot of teams did send, if not their strong, they definitely didn't send their strongest teams. They sent.
Hey, come on, that's a bad.
A lot of teams didn't send their even India. We sent a lot of our young kids. We didn't send a lot of our experienced players. We had a lot of debutants, a lot of Rohit Sharma. We had Dinesh Karthik. We had a lot of youngsters playing in the tournament, and I doubt all these players. The same 2007 50 over World Cup. A lot of these players hadn't played. It was more the experienced players that. At that point, T20 was a new thing. It was a completely new thing. And you can't even say that, no, they were specializing in T20 cricket. That's why they sent them. No, it was a 50 over World Cup. That was what the culmination of cricket was. So you can't just say that, this is why they wanted to send young, feisty cricketers who were, had fire in their belly, who were specialized in big hitting and, wicket picking. That's why they sent the T20 World Cup. So they sent them to the T20 World Cup. I've always felt that they sent a team with youth and rigor for the same reason. It was a new cup. It was a new format. And we were having, I think we had a disappointing 50 over World Cup that year as well. So yeah, again, we had a disappointing 50 over World Cup. We got out in the group stage. We lost to Bangladesh. We lost to Sri Lanka. 2 out of the 3 games. The only game we won was against Bermuda in 2007. So that adds the extra pressure. When you listen to interviews from players like Virendra Sehwag, he himself says, when we went to South Africa, nobody expected anything of us. And then coming back to India, every game, before they go into hotels, before they go to the stadium, they go out to drink tea. Everywhere, people are saying, Cup leke aana, Cup jeet ke aana. That pressure was entirely different. You can say that was probably because it was at home. But when you're cranking up the pressure to such a high level where you have no expectation from you to win a new format, a new cup. On the other hand, when you're expected to win it at home, the premier competition of world cricket, I feel that adds an extra level of difficulty to it. And I think this 2011 World Cup had a lot more. You can say it as narratives, but a lot for different players for various reasons. And for those reasons, I feel that we can get on to as we talk, but I think these are the reasons why I feel the 2011 World Cup is a lot more to fans.
Interesting. For me, again, just want to give my view quickly. 2011 World Cup, of course, I don't think there's any doubt of with regards to pressure. I think what they felt in 2011, I'm sure India felt in the 2024 T20 World Cup as well in terms of pressure. Yeah, of course, it was huge. Not taking any of that away at all. But for me, I just think the 2007 World Cup, it's my preference, one of my favorite tournaments of all time. It's my first ICC tournament memory that I have, like that I remember almost every game of. I don't remember much of the 2007 50 over World Cup. It was a little earlier in the year. So yeah, for me it was like bright, bro. I can still remember almost every game, watching almost every game, and just the dude, it was so unexpected. It was we didn't know what to expect. Every World Cup now you know what to expect. That was the first of its kind. You just didn't know what was going to happen. India sent a beast, C string, whatever string side. You're not expecting anything from them, and those boys deliver. I'm sorry, I'm not taking this. Other team sent, bro. Australia sent their strongest team. No matter, I'm not having that. Ricky Ponting, Matthew Hayden, Adam Gilchrist, Brett Lee, Mitchell Johnson. That is not weak by any means. They had everyone in their team. So did the likes of Pakistan. Pakistan had their best players playing. Yunus Khan was playing that tournament. Misbah Haq was playing that tournament. Imran Nazir was on another level when he was playing
Now,
that tournament.
wasn't Adam Gilchrist the
Shahid,
captain of Australia that World Cup?
no, it was Ricky Ponting. Ricky Ponting captained Australia
He
in
didn't
that
play.
tournament.
No, he
He
didn't.
played.
At least, he
They
didn't
lost
play
to
the
Zimbabwe.
India game.
They lost.
Ponting was not
He
the captain, but Gilchrist was the captain, but Ponting was playing the tournament.
no. Ricky Ponting was the captain. He probably
No,
didn't
no,
play
no.
the
Adam
India game.
Gilchrist was the captain for
I
the
don't remember him
T20.
playing the India game at
In
least.
T20, it was
Yeah, he
always
wasn't there. Yeah, probably didn't play the India game, but he definitely was there because they lost the
no,
game to
no, no, no,
Zimbabwe in
no.
that
Ponting
tournament.
withdrew from the World Cup. Gilchrist became the captain of that World Cup in the
Oh yeah,
2007.
because
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they lost the game to Zimbabwe in that competition, and
Zimbabwe, the
I don't know
opener.
why I
Yes,
remember
that's correct.
Ponting, yeah, being there. But anyway, a fairly strong squad. Pakistan sent a strong team. South Africa had a strong team. I think most teams had, bro, McCullum at that point, and that's what I'm saying. Like New Zealand had a strong team. India were probably the only team that didn't, and we still got it done. And there's something special about that group, just the way they went about their business and the games, dude, in that tournament. Just I can't do it. Like a bowl out is something that will never happen again. That was something special for India to win the way they did in the final. For India to qualify in the manner that they did by beating South Africa by that margin. So many stories in that World Cup. India beating Australia in a semi-final where nobody even gave us a chance. Srishant getting Hayden and Gilchrist. Bro, like these things, like I can't put it to the side. In 2011, India had a strong team. Dude. Like I can't take that away from the fact that India had a. Are you Rishi? Yuvraj Singh, man of the tournament. You had Sachin Tendulkar, Vidraninder Sehwag very much at the top of their game. Gautam Gambhir was at the top of his game. A very good MS Dhoni at the time and a young Virat Kohli. That is power pack batting with the quality of bowling that we had with Zaheer,
Our
Harbhajan.
pace bowling was literally Zahir Khan. The entire pace bowling unit was dependent on Zahir Khan. We had Ashish Nehra, we had
Correct.
Munaf Patel. I remember
Yeah.
Munaf Patel getting slapped for more than 10 and over in 3 or 4 games.
Fair enough. Go to 2007. Who did we have? A young RP Singh.
Yeah,
A young Irfan
we had
Pathan.
RP Singh, we had Ajit Agarkar.
RP Singh at that point of time was not proven.
Was nothing. You didn't know RP Singh at that time. You had a young Srishant. You had a young. You had Joginder Sharma who was entrusted with bowling probably the most important over of that entire tournament. Bro, that is just special. I can't think of. I don't know when India will
T20
go
World
in.
Cup, okay.
Yeah, and do something like that. Yeah. So that being said, Adi, you're your favorite dude.
See, dude, entertainment wise, 2007 all day, because again, it was a new thing. You know, we had that six sixes by Yuvraj, we had the bowl out
Yeah,
against
that-
Pakistan. It was very entertaining, that entire World Cup, right? Even the finals, I think that was very entertaining, the entire game also. But dude, it's a matter of fact, like at the end of the day, it was a T20 World Cup. I think that value of winning a T20 World Cup is not as prestigious as winning, the World Cup. I think that's the only thing that edges the Indian team, because see, both of them were very important in its own way. Because for the 2007 World Cup, it was important because you could see that India again came back as as an important team. We could see there were players coming through that 2007 World Cup by the likes of Dhoni. I think that created Dhoni as a captain for India also, right? A lot of pivotal things happened with the 2007 World Cup, which led us to the 2011, victory, in my opinion. If you look at that again, you had Yuvraj. Like, I think that 2007 World Cup, you could see he got that respect. Okay, this guy is clutch. No matter what, Yuvraj can do it. Same with Gambhir. I think that helped Gambhir also. Same thing with Shishan. Same thing with MS Dhoni. Rohit Sharma to an extent. You have a lot of players coming through that World Cup that actually created, that form of like, okay, for the next 10 years, 15 years, India has a good future. So that was important in that way. And it was T20 World Cup. It was so new. Teams didn't know how to play it as well as, you could have. Maybe if it was 5 years down the line and, maybe India wouldn't have won it, but it was the first tournament for the entire, for all teams. They all came in new. We can say that, other teams, I mean, all teams had a strong team apart from India. India was the only one who was like, okay, we're going to rest all our senior players. We'll give the young lads a chance after, the World Cup, which they played previously in 2007. And I think that was actually very pivotal for what came next, right, to 2011. So, bro, in terms of entertainment vibes, I would always say 2011 because it was a different thing, bro. It was like after, 30 years, India finally won a World Cup. And it was like, your so-called T20 World Cup. In terms of that, I think easily 2007 was better. But if we're talking about what was more important, I still think 2011 is like, it's like the final boss kind of thing. When you win the 2011 World Cup, again, even 2011 World Cup, I think there was a lot of pressure because at that point in time, we can say the India had a good squad, but again, our bowling was pretty okay. It was not that great. And in terms of our players, also, Sehwag was aging by then. I think Sehwag was in his last days at that point of time. Even
Sachin
Sachin to
was
an
playing
extent.
his sixth World Cup, mind you. This is his sixth.
Yeah, but Sachin was still like pretty
But
good
he's
at
still
that
good,
time.
as good as ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was the
He's
second top
yeah.
scorer in
See,
the
agreed.
test
He
match.
was he was probably 15, 16 runs behind. I
But
remember.
Rishi, if you think
Top
about
scored a
it,
scorer.
very, scored
2 years later, he
scored a
retired.
great 100 against Bangladesh also, Rishi. You remember that
That's
100?
I know, and dude, he scored 85
and in
against
Bangalore
Australia.
against
Yeah.
England.
So I feel that 85 goes extremely under the radar. But regardless, my point was that this was more an aging squad. At least the big guns, the Sachins, the Sehwags, the Zahir
But but
Khans, they're all
but then you see
towards
But they were
Australia, they
really
were
good.
fully old. Australia were in some retirement home at that point of
No,
time.
but
They were
not
not
India was
really.
still
Australia had
too good.
Australia, in fact, had
over
probably
India.
Ponting. Yeah, Australia had a fairly young squad. They had Ponting, they
No
had Brent Lee.
ways.
The pace attack after that was Sean Tate and Mitchell Johnson, who went on to play a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
more.
no, they did have a young squad because I think they had Justin Krejza or Jason Krejza who was there
Krejza
also.
played against India in that
Yeah,
turning track, but other than that, it was mostly Sean
Nathan
Tate,
Horridge probably was the
Lee,
other option.
Nathan Horitz, and then they had players like Cameron White, David Hussey, Mike
Yeah,
Hussey,
yeah, they had a little younger team,
Brad Haddon,
but my
who
point
all
is
of these
in
Adam
players,
was
bro,
too young at that point. They were all pretty
yeah, Aden had
experienced.
played for a
2011.
while,
Adam,
but
Michael Clark, they were all experienced
they
players.
played like 4-5
And
years.
Michael Clark made his debut 6 years ago or something. Before that, he made his
Yeah,
debut in
that's
2005 or
that's
2006.
six.
This is
Yeah,
2011.
that's a lot of
6 years of
cricket. You
international
realize,
cricket is good.
bro.
Yeah,
You
there is
realize
no
that Shane Watson,
that is
that
not
Brad
in
Haddon, Ricky Ponting,
that is not
Clark.
No,
you can't tell Michael Clark is someone. Michael Clark probably had the same experience as he had less experience than Yuvraj Singh at that point.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's a different story. But
Yuvraj
again,
was an
like,
experience, bro. But Rishi, all the Indian players were good. Like they were at the top of their games. It was not like, although they were. If you're saying, say, a Zahir was aging, Zahir was still amazing. Like it was
Yeah,
not like,
none of these players I was saying was out of favor, mind you. None of these players are out of favor.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All these players were
so
probably
Rishi, that's my point. Like, in terms of that, India had an easier win in 2011 than your 2007 World Cup because when India went to South Africa, they had a young squad. You had no one there. And then they're playing, some prime
nobody
Brett Lee,
expected them
prime
to do
Gilchrist.
anything. Like if India lost all the group stages, exited, none of them would have batted an eye. That makes a
Correct.
huge difference.
But
And
it
it's an
also makes
entirely
it
new
very,
format.
very. It also makes it very special that it's a very sort of.
Yeah, but it's a
No,
new
I
format
agree
for
with what you
everyone.
guys are saying.
At the end of the
In
day,
terms of,
quality matters,
yeah,
right? See, for example, in 2007, it was all India had tougher this thing. They had a tougher group stage. They had to play Australia. They have to play
look at
England.
the South Africa team, da.
Yeah, they had to
JP
play,
Dumini,
We had to play
Herschel
this. We had
Gibbs,
to play South
Graham
Africa in
Smith,
2011
AB de
also,
Villiers,
guys.
and we lost to them, by the way.
Yeah,
In
Albie
agreed, we
2007.
Morgan,
lost,
bro.
but that team was a stacked team.
No, they were stacked even in 2007. And India didn't have a good team. To beat South Africa, look at this team now. Moni Morkel, Dale Steyn, Mackay Antini, they had Albie Morkel.
Gordon Morkel, Dale Steyn, Johan
And Albie
Botha.
Morkel at that time, bro, at Albie Morkel at that point was like,
Yeah,
he was scared to go to.
he was
And
peak
Herschel Gibbs
T20.
also
Him
at
and
that
Flint
time was
Lock were
like,
peak T20 cricket.
Gibbs
Herschel
was
Gibbs like,
always
bro, yeah, like you were just scared to bowl to these guys. Bro, and it's so, I don't know, bro, it is something weird. Chris
And
Gale,
that
bro,
was
he
a
scored a
home game for
150,
them
I
when
think,
you
in that
think about
tournament.
it. They were playing at home, that too.
Yeah.
South Africa.
And so they were, bro, I think a lot of teams were pretty stacked. We're kind of disregarding the 2024 World Cup, I see, but I think it's also got the nostalgia element. That's why we go back.
Bro, 2024 is the biggest fraud World Cup ever, please. I can't even include that compared to other. Bro, like some India is stacked up with everyone. Other countries are literally just coming for the vibes. I don't think 2024 is anywhere near. I think
We were
2024, the
just
only
better
thing is,
prepared. We were just better at handling the pitches and the situations better than any of these teams.
You know, we were just better. I think we just better
bro, we
cricket.
just had the superior squad. I think overall, you see any other team, England, you look at Australia, I don't think they still had that same old good squads. Bro, imagine if South Africa and Afghanistan is in the semi-finals. Like, I mean, obviously South Africa are always in the semis, but like if you're having New Zealand knocked out in the group stages, etc., bro, this World Cup, I don't think.
I mean, it was pretty
Yes.
much in Australia's hands. If they had won their game, it was pretty much. It's not like any other situation. They had it in their hands to win or lose. If they had taken care of themselves, they would have been in the semi-finals. But they didn't. I feel
Ooh,
that
Australia.
was, yeah. If Australia had won their
But
game in
again, it's against India, and India.
Yeah, the game was against India, but yeah, whatever.
no,
I
the
mean,
Afghanistan game.
that also if they had
Even
won.
yeah,
If they
but
can
even
win
India
that
they
game,
had a chance to win, right? No, that's my point. If you're looking at Australia losing to Afghanistan so easily, you look at Afghanistan beat New Zealand so easily. I mean, all respect to Afghanistan, fair enough. They had a good, tournament. But you come Afghanistan come to semis and then they get swept by South Africa. You can look at the level of cricket where New Zealand and Australia were playing, because no matter what, you can say Afghanistan had a decent World Cup in terms of results, great World Cup. But if Australia was playing at a high level, you wouldn't expect India to lose to Afghanistan, right? Because at the end of the day, we have a superior squad. It's the same thing with New Zealand. It's the same thing with
Yeah, 100%.
even
I think New
even with
Zealand little bit they were dealt an unfortunate hand because they came in, they lost this first
A
game.
unfortunate hand,
They,
nothing.
where
The
they,
board
what
didn't
is
handle it well.
unfortunate?
Board
Why
didn't give them
no,
any practice,
you
any.
lose because you're just not good enough? Like
no,
they
the
didn't.
first game they lose, the second one they came. It was literally you don't win this, you're out of the tournament. I don't
That
think
is
any
that
other.
is how the tournament
Rishi,
works.
and they were not prepared. If you go and listen to Simon Dole after the tournament, the way they handled the T20 World Cup was really poor. Like
Hmm.
from their side, they had nothing going into the tournament. They had no T20 games.
Exactly.
A couple of their players had been rested. They just didn't have enough cricket to go into it. So I think New Zealand have themselves to blame and nobody else. Yeah.
I know.
Right. Yeah. It's an interesting conversation. Of course, we've got our own preferences. So, guys, everybody watching, again, drop your preferences. Tell us which World Cup you enjoyed the most. If you were around for the 2007 one, that one. Otherwise, the 11. Or maybe you're somebody who's fairly new to cricket and you enjoyed the 2024 World Cup the most, and we'll take that as well. Of course, do like and share the video. Subscribe to SportsKhabri. We'll see you soon.